Hello, all you happy people.
So just sit right down, relax, open your ears real wide and say, give it to me straight, doctor, I can take it.
Kick the chocks out from under the wheels. Flaps up. No offense, Margaret. Contact. We're off. Rum, rum.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Oh, what heights will hit? On with the show, this is it.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Hail Shep. So, as you guys file in, we're in for I hope, a little bit of a treat. I decided, to not take the Ghostbusters advice, and I'm going to cross the streams. I'm going to be reviewing and EFAPing one of my own videos from my other life and my other channel, Shep, my fine art painting. And going to kind of talk about the difference between producing that kind of work and producing comic book art, which they are. Of course, they're both art and they both require certain skill sets, but they could not be more different in both their approach, the mindset, and the mechanics of how you do it. So let me do a couple things here. I want to pin the chat or pin the link in the chat because I cannot word today. I has the dumb. All right, we'll do it this way. We'll go over here. Go over here. Shep, how you doing today, buddy? Your channel. I'm live. Tell it to shut up. Post it. Pin. All right. And then got to get back to. All right. Now we've got all that set up. I can't see it from StreamYard, Shep. Did that pin up at the top? The link? Coffee good. Hot. Booted myself for a second there. Hey, right.
Good, hot.
Coffee good, hot. Good to see you, buddy.
Good, hot. Yeah, there.
How are you?
Good. Been up about an hour, been doing some writing. Got to go get my coffee, so just give me a minute, Doc. I was just scanning to see what was going on. Hey, Pops.
Take your time, buddy. I'm going to be reviewing one of my own videos from my fine art channel, Rex. So I'm glad you're here as a fine art major. That'll be fun to have you along. We're just going to wait for a few more people to get here before I actually start it.
Oh yeah. Hey, Hiawatha. Hey, Shep.
Listening to Megadeth bow.
Now, Pops, was that your coffee, Stein? What the hell? Did you have coffee in that thing?
Well, now I can explain this without Pops having to say a word.
Oh, okay.
It's the coffee is upstairs.
All right.
So why make several trips when you can go use an insulated mug and get a lot?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
And I literally go sometimes and I'll get one of my wife's Yetis and I'll fill it with hot coffee and use it for a portable when I'm back here. So far, so good. So what? All right, JV2, what's up? We've got a handful of folks watching. So let's go ahead and start this thing. We're going to EFAP. I'm taking questions, comments from panel and chat as we go. So let me share the stream, share screen. And I'm going to EFAP myself.
I'm going to sit back here and smoke weed.
You go, brother. All right, so let me get over here. Rex, can you see that okay?
went and got my coffee, Doc.
Oh, God bless America. Pops, can you see okay on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it good.
All right. And this is, by the way, you guys have all seen my intro for my insane comic book stuff. This is my intro on my fine art channel. So the original music is by a local musician. I wrote it, he recorded it, and here we go. And do not make fun of my fat ass standing out in the hot sun painting. That's what I do.
Very nice. Dang, Doc, you look different in every picture.
All right. And
How come we're not doing this on your painting channel?
we're going to cross the streams. I'm going to go to my painting channel and then stream comic book work at some point.
Never crossed the streams, Doc. Haven't you heard that?
Well, that you missed when I came in. I said I'm going to violate the Ghostbusters rule and cross the streams. So typically with my fine art stuff, I would live stream it to Facebook because I didn't even know about StreamYard yet. You didn't
Right.
have the 1,000-person rule on Facebook. So I would live stream to Facebook where my art had a bigger following and then upload it to my YouTube channel. So that's what we're looking at. And Tacy co-hosts with me. So you will hear her reading the comments and questions. She's sitting back there she's sitting where I'm sitting and I'm back there painting. So here
Something
we go.
a little off topic. Did you mail that yesterday?
I did.
Okay. I thought you would. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also got a tracking number for you that I'll give you if
Okay.
you remind me a little later. So what I'm going to be doing here, I think I intro it here.
Fanta?
Hi, Fanta. This is a finished painting. And what you did, I'm going to replicate it live and so on my fine art channel, let me clarify. I do several things. One is vlogs for professional artists. Two, I do tutorials for beginners. Then I do demos that are paint alongs. So you can paint along with me if you want to. This one is a paint along and it's for intermediate skill level. So here we go. And feel free to interrupt anytime. Rex, if you don't mind, because I can't switch screens, if someone has a question, just get it out there for me.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And coffee is never optional. I don't know why I put that in there. Hear how nice and polite I am to everybody. All
We
right, here
need subtitles. It's so muted.
Huh?
We need subtitles. It's so muted.
Well, actually, I'm going to drop the sound out because
okay.
this is a visual thing.
Okay.
So here we go. So the way
You're
I
gonna
do those,
replicate one of your paintings, this one here, is that what you're doing?
I'm going to tear this asshole fine art painter apart.
Oh,
So showing the palette here, we got phthalo blue, sap green, yellow ochre, primary yellow, and burnt sienna, or just raw umber actually. And then I put a spot of white under most of them for cutting and blending.
mm-hmm.
And you do this setup for the people that are painting along with you.
And there's your titanium white, I guess.
Yes, and titanium white. Yes.
You
No.
pointed to it, so I didn't even see it there, white on white. It's kind of hard to, at least that's what people been telling me my whole life.
So what I'm using here, by the way, is one of those 50-cent chip brushes that you get from a hardware store because one of the points, excuse me, in this one was to tell my students you don't have to have the expensive gear to do a painting. All right, that's a rusty ass old worn out brush, but I'm going to do most of the painting with that one. So here I've just blocked in the background colors to mute the white canvas because you don't want a glaring white canvas. And explaining that we're using the rule of thirds, which is where you break an image down into the 1/3, either vertically or horizontally, to create your areas of high interest.
So you went in and you did the sky and sort of a watery. Did you do that outside, that part outside, or did you just take it?
This was literally like 2 minutes before the stream. I just grabbed a rag and smeared some color on so it would dry quickly. When I work in acrylic layers as an impressionist, I want it to dry as fast as possible. The opposite of what oil painters want. When I lay down a layer, I want it to be there, stay there, and not move. All right, loading up a little phthalo blue, a little titanium white, mix. And by the way, it's not on the palette, but it should have been. Normally, I mix a little bit of red ochre into my skies just to purple it up a little bit. But what I'm creating here is a washed out kind of foliage color.
So you put some titanium white underneath, and you're kind of mixing your colors with it,
right? And then I'm
some violent, happy trees here, very aggressively onto the canvas.
This is me very carefully, not caring, and just slapping it up there because you don't have to stress about it. It's just paint. Right. Nobody's gonna die.
Right.
Just slap it up there.
Yeah, and then you get some happy highlights on the top, a little blending.
Well, this way you can do that, or you can say this is so far in the background, it's just a blue hazy distance.
Yeah, well, I can see some of that in there already, just your mixture.
Yeah. Forgive the camera work. This is shot on a potato of a phone.
Well, to me, this is abstract. If you left that there, yes, I could say, well, that's ground. But is it really? Like you said, it's just paint the canvas. To me, that's very abstract.
Now, it is, and I'm going to come back to it in just a second, but I want to check
in with the chat. Kind of start from abstraction and extrapolate out from that.
You know what? Under every painting is an abstract painting. And Rex, you know this, but most people don't. What most people call abstract isn't really abstract. Abstract means to borrow from life. So a cartoon is an abstract.
Yeah.
What most people think of as abstract is actually expressionism. It's just raw shapes and colors.
Right.
So I would say, and I'm sure you would agree, Rex, under every landscape painting or portrait is an expressionist painting. True?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. In a way, they may not be thinking expressionism, but it's there.
It's all.
What impressed me was seeing the art forgers. We've talked about this before. The X-rays to Vincent Van Gogh's work, and he was like the sower of seeds. One of his sowers.
Yeah. Yes.
He was a master draftsman. Everything was meticulous and precise.
Van Gogh is who he's talking about.
Yeah, and it was only the overpainting that was more expressionistic and more wow.
Yes, he had actually shared a couple of things, one with his brother and one with Monet. Van Gogh was featured yellow heavily because he couldn't afford white. Apparently, lead white was incredibly expensive,
right?
And he would run out.
Right.
So don't do that, Pops. Pops,
I guess he would just use that for mainly highlighting, really,
or for mixing
the white, or for mixing.
Yeah, and then what Monet said was that Van Gogh had told him he wasn't trying to do impressionism in the classical sense that you're trying to capture the light of the moment and the atmosphere.
Right.
He wanted to capture the motion of the moment. the action of the scene, whether it was winds blowing, the stars in the sky seemed to be
Stars,
moving.
Starry,
You know,
Starry Night.
yeah. So he was trying to put motion in there. So a little bit different goal, but
What do you think about this psychological mambo jumbo that oh, Starry Night, that shows you the status of his sort of degradation of his mindset at the time or whatever,
no,
or,
I don't see that at all. I don't see
or
that at
no,
all.
he's Nostradamus. He sees the moving of the constellations up in the sky.
Yeah.
To me, it's overthinking, it's overthinking.
You're overthinking. And in this video that we're EFAPing, I
Yeah.
say that to my students, don't overthink. This is just art for art's sake. Just make something nice. That's all you're doing. All right, let's get back to it.
Okay. Fanta says, I love mixing my own colors.
Yeah, Fanta paints.
Yeah.
So here we go. We've got that blocked in, and so we're going to grab a little bit of the same sky color and just block it in down here in the bottom right. Now I'm doing a mid-ground background.
She's over in England right now. You knew that, didn't you?
Yep. She's over there having a good time, man. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, but
she
she was on my show yesterday and said she had her ticket to come back. So
she's ready to come. Sorry, somebody has popped in the back room here.
I don't know that she's ready, but
Let's see who we got in the
I
back
have
room.
obligations. There,
Welcome.
it's the richness. It's the
Welcome.
rich.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Talk-
Rich.
Okay.
Hello.
Rich,
Welcome.
did you get to meet up with Fanta while she was over there?
For a few minutes, I had coffee with her and her companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I forgot her friend's name.
Hen?
Her friend was hot.
Was it Hen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Hen. Yeah, Hen was cute.
Yeah, they were on the show yesterday.
All right, let me get the
Well,
EFAP going again, and we can chat over it. But basically, all you're doing here is color warms as it comes closer to you, and it cools as it recedes from you. So to create atmospheric perspective is different from linear perspective, and that's all we're doing right here. And again, not being careful, you're just slapping it up there. I say it over and over again that one of the big differences between painting and doing comic books,
Hey, Eric.
you can take the approach as you're painting of it's just paint, nobody's going to die, just
Right.
rock
That's
with it.
true.
You have to be very
Sure.
careful with
Don't be
comic books.
afraid to make a mistake, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because you can't really make a mistake. Anything you do,
Right.
you can
Yeah.
undo.
Especially at this point.
Now, with a comic book page, and Rich will attest to this, don't fuck up on panel 5.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, you've got 2 days of work in the first 4 panels. But that
Yeah,
doesn't
don't fuck
happen.
up for panel 5.
Yeah, and that
That's
doesn't.
not a problem, Doc. You'll just take your scissors out and cut that panel out and put another one up.
You better believe it. So now we're going to take some raw umber and a little bit of phthalo blue. This is what I use to make my darkest dark because I do not use black.
Do you
At
not use diazonine purple?
No,
Okay.
I make my own purple, but when I'm making my darkest
That's
dark,
impressive.
I always use phthalo blue and raw umber because it makes it makes for vibrant shadows. And all I'm doing here is restating a horizon line. That's it. And again, you can't mess it up. I'm not using a right angle, a T-square, any of that stuff. If it looks straight to you as a painter, it is straight. The contrast is, as a comic book artist, you better get that shit fucking right. It better be perfectly straight.
As straight as it can be.
Yeah, it's because one of the reasons is someone is holding a comic book in their hand looking at it. A painting is looked at from 6 to 10 feet away.
All right. I have a
very
question.
true as well.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really diluted. You can continue the painting.
Okay.
The
No, I don't cut my paints at all.
Okay. Yeah. You headed me off on the past with that. Yeah.
And I don't teach my students to do it unless you're going for a watercolor or tonalist effect. And
Well,
impressionism.
what kind of end texture are you going for? Are you going for pretty flat or what?
If it has an impasto, it is not contrived. It just happens to be there. So if there's a texture, it's not because I sought to put it in. It just happens to be there. These are medium body paints that I primarily paint with. I do have some heavy body ones when I want to just really slap something up there and make it thick. Uh, you know.
Yeah.
Now here I'm going to critique myself. I shouldn't be putzing around with putting in little sparkles at this point. You should
Yeah.
just be blocking in and moving faster. But
Were
in
you
defense,
trying to put in some back trees there?
well, really, what I'm doing is because I can paint so fast.
Yeah.
I was stalling on Facebook to drag it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Amazing.
there are some real time paintings that I have done start to finish, and of course having your coffee.
Well, using the technique that you're using, it's amazing what you can infer and not really show.
Exactly.
Just through form and distance and how your eye kind of interpolates. Is that a word?
It is now. It is
now. It occurs to me that I've done similar things to what you were talking about, Doc.
Let me pause this. What I'm doing right here, Rex, I hate to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I need this left hand 1/3 line. This needs to be the brightest area of the painting because it's going to be light peeking through the trees later. So being mindful of that, I switched from yellow ochre to primary yellow with some white to kind of to turn up the intensity on the light. All right, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was saying that I've done a lot of paintings, not only in the searing sun, but like sleet, snow, rain. I have an elemental series that I worked on years ago.
Very cool. Now, I'm going to tell you, Rex, it is not just hyperbole that I say Jimmy Buffett stole my life and I have more Hawaiian shirts than I do anything else.
Right.
I am a plein air painter, which means I like to go outside and paint when I see. I do not go out in the winter. So during spring and summer, when I'm out painting, I take a fuck ton of photographs so I have something to paint over the winter because I ain't going out there when it's cold.
Yeah, I know. You definitely have to suffer for your art if you're going to do that. I mean, heavy sleet where you're being pelted. I've been out, but that's part of my elemental series. When weather is extreme, I don't like it, but I'll go out in it.
Yeah.
Or
so
use
this is what I'm showing right now is the cheesy way, the Bob Ross way of just pulling down to do reflection.
Yeah, I thought that looked like a Bob Ross move. Yeah.
But it is never where I leave it. Because the horizontal on water is more important than the vertical. And I'll show that here in a little bit. But Bob Ross did
I never knew that.
His paintbrush what thrash musicians, that is now called metal, but back when I was doing metal, we just called it thrash. Thrash was a technique of chunking your bar chords, chunk, 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 chunk. But metal now is taking that to the extreme. You do all of that. Bob Ross was doing the same thing. He was taking a technique and making whole paintings out of it. So as an impressionist, I will underpaint the way Bob Ross does some things, but that is not a finished product. I will do more to make it more atmospheric.
Eric says Doc likes sniffing linseed oil. Just admit it.
This is acrylic, so there's no oil sniffing here.
Yeah. Now, at first, you just pulled all that down with your brush. Now, what are you doing?
I'm going to side swipe it to break it up.
Yeah.
And to kind of smooth it and push it back.
Yeah.
And please notice I'm still using the same 75-cent brush. This is a cheap hardware store brush because the point of this one was I was teaching my students it does not matter what you're using to make the art. I can use the cheapest brush.
That's true.
Q-tip. I can finger paint. As a matter of fact, I have a video of me finger painting clouds.
So are you not, is there any order that aren't you a little worried your brush is all going to get all muddy after a while?
No. And thank you for asking that, Rex. There's a technique Monet invented that's called paint through. And and that is where you paint all the color off of a brush. And as
Right.
long as you're in the right color scheme, you can move on to the next color and just let them fit, let them work together. You rarely have to rinse the brush. I might occasionally, as you can tell by my backsplash there, I might wipe the brush,
Mm-hmm.
but no, you don't really worry about getting mud. For example, if you mix red and green, you get what?
Brown or is it gray?
You get a brown. And
Okay.
if I want an earthy green brown, just lean it a little bit more toward green and let it be muddy
Mm-hmm.
because that's what
Yeah.
it looks like in nature.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saving yourself a lot of work about mixing earth tones by just letting yourself work through on a dirty brush.
Yeah, that
You
is
went
true.
dark. You went dark there real quick on that. Look at that.
Uh huh. Like Ronnie
Mm-hmm.
James Dio, we're a laugh without a tear, hope without a fear. You got to have the light to have the darkness that it needs. Yeah. So you can't
So-
see light
Mhm.
without dark. You can't see dark without light.
So you
Your
know,
rainbow in the dark.
you always have to keep like you were doing the edge of that shape right there, your ground. But you're showing more over the water there, but you get less with that as you go back because you're thinking distance.
Right.
Yeah.
And you do the little Bob Ross stuff down there on the right of the shoreline as you're teaching. As I call these things when I'm painting, notes to myself. I'm leaving myself a note that I want foliage there, but that is by no means what the foliage will look like. So
Is this what you're doing now, indicating foliage on the ground here?
yeah, you're shooting in where things will go.
Right.
Now, I could go straight to the finish and do it that way, but again, you're teaching students here how to build up.
Yeah.
So
Well,
when you're
now as
shooting-
you're getting to the edge of the water, it seems like you're getting less and less
less and less what?
strokes there, indication of it.
Yeah, because that comes later. You do build in layers, and that's where I think Rex is going.
He
You
said
paint
stroke.
top to bottom, back to front. So you start in the back and you work your way forward in a painting. Whereas Rich will know very well, as a master artist himself, with a comic book
I like
artist,
stroking.
everything is done on the same plane.
I wouldn't admit to that,
That's
Rich.
I
So-
admit to everything. I have no shame.
I said the other day, Rich, believe everything you hear about me. I don't care what it is. Just believe it
Wash
all.
your hands. Just wash your hands afterwards. That's all I ask.
I don't like washing my hands. I sniff them first.
Wow.
Don't want to lose any good scents or flavors.
Oh,
No,
hell.
no, we definitely don't. You gotta let it sit for a little while and then put it in some Worcestershire sauce.
Rich's supplement comic, Scratch and Sniff, confirmed.
Jesus Christ.
What's my chat saying over there, Rex? Anybody?
I don't know. Who's that deviant bastard who's being all dirty with his jizz on his hands? That would be
Yeah.
Rich Parada.
Just Eric saying goodbye. You have to go. Take care.
Oh, Eric, well, I wish you could hang out, brother. Eric Boyd is one of the true class acts in our crowd. He's a super nice guy, super classy guy, good artist, and just a good guy to have a beer with, you know?
Okay.
All right, so now we're just
Pops
creating.
guy had a question.
What's that, Pops?
How many exactly is a fuck ton?
It's a little bit less than a shit ton.
Is that something you said? I didn't hear Doc say that.
So what we're doing right here, guys,
Is
is
getting the
Mhm.
shoulder
Oh,
away.
yes, he did. He said he took a fuck ton of pictures, and I was like, man,
Oh,
pictures don't weigh a lot, and a fuck ton. My
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
man, how many exactly
So-
is a fuck
That's
ton?
a good question. Yeah.
It's a lot.
so what I'm doing here, two things. One is you're just creating some texture, all right, on that ground. Let me back
Can
up.
I
So we
ask
can,
you a question? Is texture taboo? Is
No.
it taboo?
No.
Okay, it's not. Okay.
never. All right. So
Nothing
pay
is
attention.
taboo.
Right here.
like
This is where you're keeping the math of what you're doing in mind.
The man.
I know exactly how long it's going to take that acrylic paint to dry.
Right.
So what I'm doing is I'm laying in some texture on the foreground, and I'm immediately going to start letting it dry as I shift brushes now from my cheapest brush to my most expensive brush. This is a $35 Winsor and Newton hog bristle. Uh,
Hmm.
one of my favorites to use. So I'm switching over to it, and here we go. Because now I'm waiting on that layer to dry. It is a filbert rounded top. That's what I'm showing, which is
Yeah,
what
round. Yeah.
that's what I prefer to do my flats with when I'm working.
It's flat with rounded top.
Right. And so
Yeah.
instead of using a bright, which is straight across, it's more
Mhm.
organic to have that round top. So I use a filbert.
Hmm.
Hey,
And
I'll be back soon. I have to get something. I have something in the oven. I want to eat something, so I'll be back soon.
All right, buddy.
All right, I'll
So-
see you cats later.
I have no idea what I'm mixing here, except I know that the trees I'm painting are those weird white colored trees they have in England that hang over the canals.
Oh,
So I'm going for kind of a silvery green gray bark on the tree, but I'm also doing something else. I'm stalling, not my audience, I'm stalling myself to give that at the bottom time to dry.
but
So-
you're adding contrast too.
Right,
here.
right. So what I'm after is I know that that sky is bone dry, the midground is dry, and by mixing for a while and just kind of sitting back, if I was alone and not filming, I would just kind of sit back and mix the paint and stare at the canvas for a minute and let that foreground dry. Again, acrylic dries very fast. If I was oil painting, you wouldn't care. You would just paint wet on wet, keep working. So I want a big thick tree, and I decided I'm going to do one instead of two in this painting. Ask me why, Rex.
Why, Doc, would you want two instead of one?
Or one instead of two, because the other painting that I'm demonstrating that I'm copying from was a commission, and I don't replicate what I do for somebody else.
Right.
And then,
Now,
and then
what you did there was lay in a dark side for shadow.
well, actually, a dark side for the light,
For
because
the light, yeah. I mean,
because when I put in the highlights, I got to have some dark under it.
because in what the technique you use, which is what would you describe it as, neo impressionism, or
Oh no, it is straight out impressionism.
okay, so you deal with shadow and light all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which every artist should. I mean, if Rembrandt proved anything, it's painters need to take into account light
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
in everything that they do.
Vermeer as well. Vermeer was so much light.
And it should be mentioned with acrylic paints that acrylics, and I'm sure you probably take this into account when painting a picture, acrylics dry a shade darker than what you lay them down.
Exactly right. Over time, acrylic continues to get darker. Over time, oil continues to get lighter. We don't know why it is, but it is. So when you see art restoration of old pieces, it's important that they get it really clean and then they varnish it and it redarkens the oils.
Hey, Tree Goblin. Tree Goblin's got a comment. He says, sausage fingers.
Hey, I got nice hands, man. It's all I got left. Don't take it away from me. Welcome, Tree Goblin. Always good to have you, and buddy. This is a scene from England, down on the Kenton Avon Canal.
Are you using photo reference, or are you just going by another painting you've done and altering it somewhat?
Yes, the original that I painted, which is at the beginning of the video, was a friend of mine who owns a narrowboat over on the canal sent me a photo and said, "Would you paint this for me?" And I said, "Yes."
Oh,
so
is that
So this is me replicating that painting to show the process.
well? I mean, so you're going by photo, so that's not really impressionism, is it, Doc?
Well, let me ask you a question. Was Degas an impressionist?
Yeah, I don't like that guy, but
I don't either. But he was an impressionist,
right,
and
right.
he worked exclusively in the studio. So yeah, you can do impressionism in the studio. Plein air impressionism is the specific.
It's different, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to heat my coffee up. I'll be right back.
You go ahead, brother. Hell, I want some coffee. When you get back, you got
How much burnt umber is in that, Doc?
It's a 2-to-1. So it's 2 parts of the sap green.
Are you using burnt umber in that tree there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 2 parts sap green to 1 part umber. And again, normally I would use red ochre because if you use red with green, you get vibrant shadows. I don't know why I didn't do it. That's the only criticism I have for this one. And yes, on the screen I say there's a thunderstorm rolling in, which leads to a funny. Okay, my wife is co-hosting my live paints, so she's right behind me, and Tacey is phobic about thunderstorms. So I thought, shit, she's about to get up and run out of the studio and leave me hanging here, and not read me the comments from my live paint. But she didn't. She toughed it out. She was a trooper.
Are you trying to hurry up?
I'm always hurrying up, brother. I paint very, 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 very fast.
Okay, I'm going to heat my coffee up, and then I'll take over for you if you want to go get some.
Yes, please hurry.
We can leave Pops in charge.
Actually, I'm gonna pause and touch base with my chat. Let me see.
Pops in charge, he said.
Let's touch base with the chat. Oh, Tree Goblin just hurting my heart.
Oh man, you want to leave Pops in charge? Is that what you said?
He said something like that. I'm not leaving you in charge. You'll hang black light posters all over the walls.
You're right.
I'm looking for a man who you have found one.
Won't you get in trouble if the boss shows up?
Oh, no, it's the boss here? Hey, wait, I'm the boss.
I'm already in charge, man. I'm already in charge.
I love it. Absolutely.
You did a good job on that, Doc. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. And I had fun doing it. And if you would like your own intro for your YouTube channel, hit me up. I'm glad to throw one together for you. And it doesn't have to be in that style. I can do just about any of them. Here's one for Fanta who's watching.
You people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
Sipping whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow. Singing Sweet Home Alabama all summer long.
I like these calm little moments before the storm.
Show me the power, child. I'd like to say that I'm down on my knees today.
That's the trouble with some dames. Kiss them and they fly apart.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle.
I have fun making those things. I got to tell you. But if you want an intro, including if you want custom narration and a multitude of voices and accents, hit me up. I'm glad to help you out. It's a little cottage industry that sprung up almost by accident.
Yeah, and obviously they're fun.
Yeah.
It's nice to have one. I like having one now.
And Pops, by the way, did not need an intro. He's got dozens of them. It was just something I wanted to do that was fun.
No, I didn't have one that was personalized like that.
Yeah, just for you.
We had madness intros for the different shows.
Right.
But that's when I go on somebody else's show or whatever, I mean.
Yeah.
I want to show up late.
Plus, like I said, it's just fun to do.
When all right, you can play it. See?
Yeah, exactly right. Get on camera there, Rex, and let me go grab me a cup of coffee, and I'll be right back.
I want to know what Rex has planned for this weekend during CromCon. That's what I want to know. What do you got planned?
Well, now CromCon's going to run Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah. Sunday at 3:00, 3:15-ish.
I've got bad head.
When the draw stream's over, we're going to go right to you guys, but I don't really know what the topic is.
Right.
Is Dave going to be there this week?
Oh, it's going to be Ross Andrew. and he might want to show some of that poster book. He's been wanting to show that, but
Oh, okay.
we're going to be Ross Andrew this week.
All right, cool. What's up, Shadow? Shadow, I think the link might be pinned if you want to jump on in here.
Hey, Shadow Hawk.
Yeah, I'm kind of like checking out. Dave Brink was on, just was on with Commie Mark over there.
Yeah, I was on there when I saw the notification for this, so I came over here.
Yeah, and IGG booking Shadow banned his book. You know what they did to us this morning, Doc?
Doc's gone for his coffee.
Okay, Rex, you know what they did to us this morning? We, have an event post that we created.
Right.
For the madness for CromCon, right? We have an event post that we created that we cannot share in our own group.
I know. We'll continue that conversation, Pops, as we continue to our EFAP. Let's bring the video back up and move along. So, Springtime on the Water. This is a tutorial painting, or I should say a tutorial / paint along, where I'm replicating a commission I did for someone who owns a narrowboat on one of the canals over in England. So let's continue.
I like the wall behind it better. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that backsplash, by the way, I've had it for years, and I have painted over it to make it white again many, many, many times. I literally had somebody make me an offer on my backsplash one time. He said, "How much for that?" And I said, I didn't miss a beat. I said $1,000. And he was like, "All right." So the original one went bye-bye.
Wow.
It is now a Jackson Pollock, Rex, that I sold for $1,000.
No shame.
None. I have none. Have brushes. We'll
Hold on,
well, I mean, that's a good question. If let's say we got a little Jackson Pollock and he's painting imagery and stuff, but that stuff's not selling. But then he starts dripping stuff and everybody's going gaga over it and wanting to pay millions or hundreds of thousands for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which do you go with?
Yeah, and let me answer that and be completely honest. I have never said that Jackson Pollock was an idiot for selling them. If they sell it. If my backsplashes sold for more than my paintings consistently, I would sell the shit out of backsplashes. Just saying.
Well, how are you going to know if you're not trying?
Well, because before the world ended, the work you see me doing on this canvas was selling beautifully.
Yeah. I'm just thinking it's like when that first one sold, I would have went like, I can have 2 more of those ready for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, Pops, that's because you're a greedy pirate.
I know, you can tell, huh? I'm just rolling in the freaking dough over here, Doc.
All right, now I'm switching over to what's called a sable rigging brush. And I get mine with a bigger, fatter handle just so I can do really fine lines. And this is where you're going to just kind of chop in some of the small limbs and whatever. But I didn't show it here, but I do in class all the time. You don't have to go get one of these. If you turn a big brush sideways, it becomes a small brush, and you can do the same thing.
Now, I noticed you didn't mention, but had little flakes of white in that bark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep, just touching in some highlight. And what I'm doing there in reality is that's a test for myself as I'm working. Remember I told you I leave myself little notes on the canvas?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. I'm asking myself the question, as this dries, is that enough contrast for me to add the highlights later? So I'm watching it out of the corner of my eye to see how it dries. And then, of course, putting in these little spiffly limbs and whatever. It's fun to do, but not necessary. You can chalk them in there as big as you want to.
About CromCon, Pops, just send me the link. I'll drop in when I can.
Yep.
Now CromCon runs Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yep.
Well, tonight we have a launch party for Morgan Quaid for Enmity #1.
Yeah, drop
kicking
that
off-
link, Pops. Drop that
kicking off
link.
at 8 o'clock. And tomorrow, segment 1 starts at noon. And segment 2 starts at 6. And then Sunday, segment 1 starts at noon. And segment 2 starts at 6. And all the segments are on, they're right there in the channel. You can find, every segment, the link to every segment right there in in our channel. But
fantastic.
Here
there you go,
is
Pops.
the one for tonight.
There
This
you
is
go.
The one for tonight.
Do you keep it pinned in the chat?
Well, no, because I've got the StreamYard pinned.
Well, I mean, yeah.
All right. So on screen right now, I want to point out that everything you need to do these paintings is up here. So over here on the far left side, you can barely see it. That is a mist bottle. Don't get a regular spray bottle if you're going to use water and mist your paintings to wet them, because the droplets will stain with acrylic rather than re-wet it. So get an ultrafine mist bottle. There's a palette right here. This is in spite of the fact that it looks like a tray a chuck roast would have come on. It's not. That's an actual palette. Of course, you need a canvas. You need a backsplash. Your brushes, always keep a rag or paper towels handy. And this is a big one. When you're painting in acrylic, guys, don't use some little jar where you have to focus on hitting the jar to get your brush in there. Use a big wide mouth empty coffee can, this butter spread, whatever, so you can hit your water without even looking. So you can focus on what you're doing. All right. And then back behind here, there's gesso hiding. So
all right. So
it's maniacal.
Rex, where do you want me to drop the link for you tomorrow? In your Twitter or your Facebook?
Always Twitter. I don't use Facebook much.
All right. Well, just look for that in the morning. It'll be there.
Now, Doc, your backsplash there, you use that to kind of get the excess off your brushes or what?
Yeah, I do a quick wipe of a brush. I don't often wash out a brush when I'm painting, but like if there's excess paint, I'll just knock it off on the background and build the next color on the brush.
I know Bob Ross would get the turpentines to excess,
and beat the devil out of it. Yeah.
Beat the devil out of it on the legs there.
Also, I want to throw this out there. Next Friday, 1 week from today. 1 week from today, next Friday, I will be turning 59.
Oh my gosh.
I plan on having a kind of a reverse birthday party. The people, anything that's left over in Vic's auctions tomorrow night, I'm inviting those people to come over and try again next Friday, and we'll try to make some people some money and get some people some art, and that'll be my present to all of you on my birthday. There you go.
That's awesome.
I said it. Now the only issue I have is a scheduling issue.
Right.
Because I know my son's going to probably want to take me golfing on my birthday. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the problem is I don't know if he's going to want to go in the morning.
Right.
Or if he's going to want to go in the evening.
Well, Pops, we'll all stay flexible for you. How about that?
Well, for me, it's kind of like I'm just kind of, I don't know yet.
That's what
I mean. I could have some beautiful hottie hit me up and say we're going out Friday night. And then
that's
the whole thing up. You see what I'm saying?
Look. Don't fantasize and ruin it.
Don't be too concerned about that.
Rex, how concerned do you feel that might happen? I'm just saying. All right, so what I'm doing on the painting right now is using blue to lay in the shadows. Now, there's an interesting thing. If you go back and you look at the pre-impressionists, you will occasionally see a little touch of color in shadow, but mostly they were grays or browns. Monet was a student at Glair's Academy, not because he needed to learn from Glair's, but because his father wouldn't give him any money if he didn't enroll in a real school.
Right.
So he enrolled at Glair's Academy. Monsieur Glair's just got after him constantly. He gave Monet hell. So Monet took Sisley, Pissarro, and Renoir, and they went out on the road to Argentois, and they found that big old tree that they all painted from different angles. And
Yeah.
Monet is quoted as saying, "Do not presume to tell me there is no color in shadow when I stand here looking at it." Now, we can all truly see color in shadow in real life. But there's another thing to remember. Monet had an unusual eye affliction that caused him to see like a honeybee does. He was able to see deeper into the ultraviolet than any of us, and his painting reflected it. And that's kind of what gave birth to those vibrant shadows that everyone goes for in Impressionism. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's move on. And again, still using the El Cheapo brush and working at a really awkward angle, because when I'm alone and not filming, that would be laid back a little bit. So I would have my hand could access the bottom part of the canvas better. Now we're going to shoot in some light behind where? The darkness.
Come over to the dark side of painting.
We have cookies.
Yes.
What's up, Stephen B? Stephen B. Stephen B. Stephen B.
Hey, Stephen B. What's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Hey, Stephen.
And of course, you're putting light on top of the dark. Because if you want things to pop, you have to generate contrast. In painting, there's the 3 C's: composition, color, and contrast. Contrast is king. Contrast is
If you have a
everything.
model, it's 4 C's.
Oh, rags. Rags.
I'll just let that one lie.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. I just not going anywhere near that one.
Oh, me.
I was going to. I was set up one day to live film for YouTube when I first discovered you could. I had my live model down at the art school, and I was going to get her to drape, so I wouldn't have nudity. But she wasn't dressed. You know what I'm saying? She would just be draped with a cloth. And then I thought, all it's going to take is one slip, and I'm demonetized. So we just said, nah, fuck that. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah. Had to wave it down.
Yeah, but now that I don't give a shit about being monetized, I might do that one day.
Pin it across her or something?
Huh?
Pin it across her, perhaps?
You have to know.
If she's lying down.
My model is so hyper that
squirmy.
Yeah, she's going to squirm. She giggles and laughs and cuts up. There's no shy in her.
Yeah,
It's not.
I'd
It's
like
not
to
like.
meet her. I'd like to meet her, dog.
Well, shut up. It's not like she's not an exhibition. She's not getting off on it, but
Damn
she's so comfortable with modeling in a professional setting that she puts
Right.
the art students at ease.
At ease, right? Yeah,
You know,
'Cause
she
it
cracks.
gets real tense.
It
sometimes.
does. It does. And you don't want that. You want people to relax. You're just painting. You're not here to score points with the model or flow with
Isn't it
it.
amazing that the most natural form, your nakedness, it makes us feel so uncomfortable?
Yeah, it is. Now here we're doing highlights on the water, and ask me why I moved over there.
Why did you move over there?
That's a great question, Rex. I moved over there to give that
Thank
shit on the left time to dry.
Spent a lot of time on that one.
So you're happy with what you got in one area, move to another, and allow that to dry so you can continue to build your layers. Because if I go work on the left right now, I'm going to turn it into mud.
Yeah, you don't want to see that happen.
No, unless you're painting mud, in which case, rock on.
Right.
I had a smart ass student say that to me one time. Well, what if you actually want to paint mud? So first I bounced my Nerf ball off their head because I carry one around with me for stupid questions.
Well, then
So
you will be the next Rembrandt of mud.
So I told him, look, if you're painting mud, paint mud. Rock on.
Right.
But mud ain't no easy take. By the way, the stuff that is easy to do when you paint is a nightmare to do as a comic book penciler. Grass, tree
Yeah.
leaves, or reflections on the water. Those things are nightmares to do as a penciler.
Right.
Easy to do as a painter.
As a painter, you're shooting in large swaths of that stuff. But
Right. All in one go.
yeah, and then it's like every individual blade of grass.
Yes, I know. And Anthony and I were cutting up about that. We both had a scene to do in our books where someone was walking down the stairs, and we both said, with God as my witness, the next building I draw has elevators, no stairs. Because fucking stairs are a nightmare to draw.
Mm.
I'm not a draftsman. I'm an artist.
Sound like Dr. McCoy on Star Trek.
Yes.
Doctor, not a bricklayer.
That's it, baby. That's it. All right. Again, I'm over mixing right now deliberately to stall for purposes of stretching it out for my YouTube channel. So I think what I just said there is now I need to pull the eye forward up top. So we're going to pop in some highlights to allow the back
and around the back of the neck.
We got to allow the background to recede away from us by pulling stuff that's on the same plane forward. Look at the size of those forearms, man. That dude could break your skull. But I bet I could take him. This was before I broke my arm in 5 places. Excuse me.
Well, now, which arm did you break? Your left or your right?
My painting arm.
Your right.
Yep.
And that was pre-COVID, I guess.
Oh yeah. 2 places in the elbow and 3 places in my wrist. And they were all supposed to be surgically repaired. I couldn't afford it. I wore a cast for 3 weeks, and then I cut it off and went back to painting because painting pays the bills, and I got bills to pay.
Yeah, but hell, Doc, come on.
I know. Now I got a gimpy arm because of it.
Blade Runner says, Doc Blaylock, stunning.
Well, thank you, Blade Runner. I appreciate it.
I had to laugh at the backsplash. As an expert, you should put the backsplash under a modern art tab and see if someone will buy it.
Yeah, one of them sold. It's before you came in the chat. I was telling Rex, somebody bought one of my backsplashes. But there's a Draw with Jazza is a big.
Oh, was it a backsplash? I was
Yes.
thinking that you were saying that you were like setting up, much like this painting here, like you started, and they
No.
said,
No,
that.
it was literally the backsplash. So what it was, Rex, most of my videos, I start off with something on the screen.
Yeah.
This one just happened to start with it zoomed in on my backsplash for
All
whatever
right.
reason.
Let's
And
say you become in 100, 200 years as famous as a Rembrandt. Okay. Can you imagine what that backsplash would be worth?
yeah, I could. Too bad I would never see a dime of it.
No, it's not worthless, you know. I mean, you know, you likes what you likes, pie, you know.
Yeah.
I would probably be another that would probably go, well, how much for this one?
I'll when we're done with this, I'll actually pull it up. I've got it my newer than this
Cool.
one.
I'd like to see what he bought.
Well, no, there's a different one
You
now.
should document that. Yeah.
And I'll pop it.
You should document.
I'll pull that one up when we're done here. It's just stacked. It's stacked against the wall over there.
You got me curious to, you know, of what he bought. You got me curious of what it looked like. But you probably didn't think to document it, did you?
No, but I mean,
to you, it was just a backsplash. To him, it was a piece of art.
it's not like it's hidden. It's there in all of my paintings. Hold on a second. I'll grab the thing and show you. Hold on. Oh, I can't have that as my icon. What the hell?
No doubt. We got 2 madness here.
There we go. All right, give me just a second here.
Magnum PIs. Doc is Magnum PI. Hey, everybody. It's Friday. It's the weekend. Thank God. It is Friday. Well, I mean, it's almost the weekend. I have to work tonight, but at least I know once I get done tonight, I've got a couple days off. Whew.
All right, so there's no possible way I can show this without standing up and grabbing it and walking it over here to the camera.
Oh, okay.
So this is my backsplash.
I see a little blue chair in that.
And this across here is a custom-made texturizer that I made. It's a secret formula that's kind of drywall mud and some other ingredients. It's indestructible once it's on there.
Real
So
bond. Yeah.
so that added some texture to it. And if you want to buy this work of modern art, it is available.
There you go. Yeah.
But it's just a sheet of plywood that I use as my backsplash.
Okay. Was there some reason you put that spackling on there?
It was part of a painting, and of course,
Oh,
the
okay.
backsplash did its job and caught some of the overflow.
And are you doing that for texture purposes or to be different?
Someone commissioned me to do a particular thing.
Uh-huh.
There were 4 square canvases, and what they wanted was extremely heavy texture, 4 different colors. There was green, orange, blue, and something else. And they wanted spring, summer, winter, fall. They wanted a tree on each one of them, very
Oh.
abstract.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
and then assemble that into one art sculpture.
No,
So,
no. Wait a
so
minute.
that,
You're doing abstract modern art? What the hell? You're blowing my mind today.
but it was representational, and it was also a commission. So if someone
Well,
goes,
yeah, I mean, then wouldn't
so
Andy
if someone,
Warhol's cans or cows be?
oh God,
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be representational?
he's printing.
Well, he is screen printing. Yes,
He's printing. Okay, don't
And I
bring
knew someone that knew him, and he
Don't-
said he was basically cleaning his screens.
yes, don't bring Warhol into this. Anyway,
Look, man, if I discuss art, look into my eyes, Doc. I'm serious. I am serious about it. I don't joke about art.
I do all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, a little levity goes a long way.
It does. If you look,
That being
if you do art for a living and you don't have a sense of humor, you will die.
That being said, I came up with a story element where this kind of a funny element, and actually, even the opening scene, the way it sits now on Devil Flyer, is a joke, is funny.
Okay.
Using dialogue, but because he just gets back from fighting in a hellish realm, so he smells like sulfur and brimstone. So
Right.
he's explaining to this person, catch him in mid sentence, he's saying, and that's why I stink. And then you go back and show the battle, and and then also I came up with imagine like a blind black guy that's got a guitar, like Lead Belly sitting there, and somebody throws litter out on him,
Okay.
and that's kind of a joke. And then, but the guys that kind of drop off, then they get killed by my slaver character.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He kind of, the joke's on you, and then they get it, but he doesn't. He first kind of sniffs out the blind guy, but for some reason he doesn't kill him. So,
all right. So Rex, let's talk about sky holes.
Okay. Ooh, sky holes. Ooh, sounds like a sci-fi.
Sky holes are where the sky peeks through things like foliage, buildings, whatever.
Yeah.
And painters approach this from 2 different ways. One is to paint the sky in first and then build on top of it. The other one is you do it all in one plane. And I have videos doing both. So like if I was doing this instead of as layers, as I was painting the foliage, wherever I wanted a sky hole, I just have a brush with a lot of thick titanium white and phthalo blue and just blob it on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted this to be softer. So we did layers. We did layers.
Blob. You have to do the sound effect. Oh, that sounded like flatulation.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, baby. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I tried desperately. Every painter that does videos, including my friend Stuart Davies, who is amazing, we all say the same thing. I am so sorry my shoulder and hand keep getting in the way, but I don't know a way to paint without my shoulder and hand.
Right. So you automatically in that second field there, you laid in some shadow of the tree, right? Base. Yeah.
Yeah.
You left some for that. So you're thinking ahead on all these things.
Yeah, always. As with experience, you learn how to again, it's leaving yourself notes as
Yeah.
to what you want to do later. Now, the temptation to pull my brush down.
Wait a minute, is that a fan brush? What is that?
Yeah, that's a fan brush.
Okay, so that's a very small fan brush. Is it just a small fan brush, or did you like cut that off or something?
It's just a small, but all of my brushes are hog bristle or synthetic bristle, so they're thick and they hold their shape better.
But the thing with the hog bristle, now with the hog bristles, you've got some more expensive ones, right? Because
yeah.
Now, I have a question. If you have a bristle or hair that sticks to the painting that comes out of the brush, do you take it off?
That's a great question, and there's a lot of us that joke about that. I used to say, I don't charge a penny more for a brush hair in a painting.
Right.
You're welcome. Because the serious part behind the joke is it's a painting. Of course that's going to happen. But the other side of that is they're easy to get out. You just come sideways with your brush and chip at it, and it'll pop up on your brush and you pull it off.
Christopher Brown says nice, and Blade Runner says would love a large sofa-sized landscape like this, but could never afford it. It's a peaceful, happy place and a view I'd never actually have out of my window.
Well, I appreciate that, and I do have large sofa-sized ones available for sale, and I'm reasonable. So get in touch with me, and I'm happy to show you some 24 by 30.
What you need, Doc, is a website.
I had one, and ask me what happened.
What happened?
When the world ended and I could no longer even give a painting away, I couldn't afford the premium channel. So I said, please revert my website back to the free plan.
Right.
They did, but you cannot search for it and find it anymore. But I can link it and you should be able to see it.
It's still up? Okay.
Yeah, it still exists. And I need to get after them. It's a Wix website. I need to contact Wix and say, what the hell, man? I purchased my domain name.
Right.
Past tense, purchased. I own it.
Right.
So anyway, this is where I end the video, but it is not the end of the painting.
I would hope not.
A couple of things. Oh, wow, that was hurtful.
Well, I'm just saying it looks now that straggler was quite bold, that limb that you worked on over the water.
Right. Yeah. I finished this out.
Yeah.
The final work. I put more grass leaning over the water, more sparkles, and I'm going to back all the way up here to show you the source image. There it is. So that's the original.
And like you say, you don't replicate.
Right. If a customer pays me for a custom painting,
yeah,
only once in my life I made the mistake of doing I had this painting of a rowboat in a tulip pond, not a lily pond, a tulip pond, and I replicated it. And I should never have done that. The original buyer got pissed off at me, and I didn't blame him a bit. I said, you know what, you're right. I will never do that again.
Why? Was it that it just didn't match up to the original?
No, it's that if I create an original work for somebody, I'm not going to do it again for somebody else.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. Yeah. The original buyer got mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's kind of petty, really.
Well,
I understand.
With serious collectors, which, you know, and this is going to sound freaking obnoxious as hell, but I have a lot of really serious collectors that collect my work. And my biggest collector was the one I'm talking about. This guy owns the largest gallery in the East.
Right.
He has all the famous names. He has all the famous working artists. And I was so honored that he decided he liked my work. He bought 7 pieces from me for his gallery, which paid my bills for over a year, put it that way.
So are you going to drop your link in the chat? Because Blade Runner says, I'll definitely look. It's just gorgeous work.
Well, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to do this real quick. I'm going to share. I have a video that's just kind of a uh, what do you call it? A amalgam of all my works, or a lot of my works that are available. So I'm going to play that right now, and you can see some of my other works. Come over here. We do.
Yeah,
Wait,
you can post those fairly regularly. How much painting are you going to get done now that you're off doing Grave Tales, the story for me, and you're getting to your own project? Right.
none. What I will do, because they're different disciplines, you don't want to get
Right.
when I am finished with Pariah, I'm probably going to do 50 to 100 paintings
Oh, okay.
just to create a new body of work,
Right.
and then I'll return to whatever my next project is. So let's take this. Let's check this out real quick. Mute it, and
Very nice, Doc.
this is a plein air painted on site. So is this? Let me slow down so I can narrate this. This one is titled Cheatham Road Harvest. So this was right after the hay harvest out on a country road here, and it's
In
plein
Georgia.
air.
In
Yeah,
Georgia.
it's plein air. Now this is at Slade Pond, early morning or mid morning, excuse me. Some friends of mine own a nice pond and landscaped grounds, and I go out there and I paint frequently.
Yeah.
That one should look familiar. I have it sitting right here beside me.
Blue chair.
Yeah, this is the Heads Creek Reservoir. This is I forget the name of it, but it's an oak tree in my friend's backyard. This is the Cheatham Road Bridge mid morning. This was painted. There's a fishing spot right here. See the dirt in the foreground?
Mhm.
There was literally a guy, old African American guy, sitting there fishing.
And you painted it out.
Well, he was fishing, and I set up to paint. We
Yeah.
talked for the better part of 2 hours, cutting up and laughing. He loved the painting. Of course, he couldn't afford it, and in my heart, I really wanted to give it to him because he was like, "This is my favorite fishing spot." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
So I said, "I will be sure I pay extra attention to exactly how the foliage is and the dirt is right here, because
Right.
this is your spot, and you got the bridge out of focus back there, So moving
So
on.
you didn't give it to him?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, you know what you can do is get prints and give him a print.
I do not do prints ever. This is Hunting Island.
Why?
Well, I'll tell you why here in a minute. But the image is kind of out of focus. I'm hoping that there's a better one that pops up. I don't remember. But this is from down in my hometown, Hunting Island, South Carolina, Beaufort, Port Royal, at sunrise. This is sunrise on the farm. We have a family farm up north of here, and I just went up there and cut loose one day, as fast as I could possibly paint. This one is a plein air of just a little pond in a meadow.
See, I agree. I like to get the energy of to do fast work. I think some of my best work is my fastest work.
Yeah. There's just I only have one speed when I'm painting, and that is as fast as I can possibly go. And that's because you're always rushing against the light. The light is going to change. It only stays the same. Monet's rule was pick out a leaf on a tree, and when the light on that leaf changes, you're done.
Yeah.
And so I stick to that, but I also discovered that's about
So he was selling unfinished paintings?
No, they were finished. You just finished that fast.
Jack Stafford dropped your fine art channel link.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. This one is
Golden Clouds. Love it. Which one's the Golden Clouds?
This one is horribly called Oak on the Water. I know.
We'll change it. My God.
I couldn't help it. Oak on the water.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that one is a 30 by 40, by the way. It's a very large painting.
Wow. Yeah.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites because it was so fun.
What's the largest you've worked on, Doc?
Well, I once did a mural that was 50 feet by 70 feet. So I guess that's the biggest. But the biggest freestanding painting that I do is typically 30 by 40. This is my favorite painting that I've ever done, not because of the art in it, but because of what it is. This is
Does the crossbar ever get in your way
of what?
Of your canvas?
Oh, that's a good question. No, because there's an easy trick for that. You cut out a piece of cardboard and you slide it between the crossbar and the canvas while you're painting. And that's something I teach in my practical applications class. This is a painting of the Beaufort River in Beaufort, South Carolina, but it's really Port Royal, of the Beaufort River from Bay Street. And there was just this one sailboat that had anchored overnight. You know, to your right over here is a marina, to your left is a marina, but this one little window, you know, made it look isolated. And the horizon is lost in that hot morning fog. So I really wanted to capture that. So that's one of my favorite paintings. And I just call it Calm because it makes me feel calm.
Yeah, now that's one of your new favorites, isn't it?
Calm is my favorite. These are just
wait a minute, you just threw the cottage under the bus and went on to this one.
Well, no, the video played, Rex. I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
This is a Cobb Cottage with red door.
Cobb Cottage. Wow. Okay.
This is an old cob house a friend of mine in England has. And he said, if I go across my driveway and take a picture, will you paint it? And I said, yes. And then the poor soul could not pay for even the shipping. So it's still here somewhere, hiding in my inventory. This was, there's a story behind this one and a couple of others. Stuart Davies is an amazing landscape painter, tonalist, lives in Paris, France. He's from England and he's English, but not Paris. He lives in France in the countryside. And he does paintings like this that are tonalist. And someone said to him in his chat, can you do this with acrylic? And he said, no, you can't do this with acrylic. And I was like, hold my beer. So I did it with acrylic and I sent him the picture and he laughed. He goes, okay, I stand corrected. It can be done with acrylic. And he said, how fast did you have to paint to do that? And he paints fast. I said, about twice as fast as you.
Yeah, because it dries.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. This was one of my first paintings that sold.
Doc, you coming on my channel later?
Sure, yeah.
I sent you the link.
Okay. I lived next door to this scene. My neighbor had this old gazebo in their backyard, and the morning light would break through those trees, and it just took my breath away. I'd sit on my back patio, and I could see this and the puddles of light. So I went, I'm going to paint that. So I went and knocked on these people's door, and I said, I do this frequently, by the way. I'm going to be out here painting. I didn't want you to freak out and think somebody was stalking your house or anything. And they're like, no, we know you're the neighbor. Well, two things. One, if you're a painter out there, ladies and gentlemen, and you're a starving artist and you're worth your weight, go out and set up in front of rich people's houses and paint a scene. They will always come out.
Yeah.
They will always be curious. And 9 times out of 10, you will sell the painting on the
Get
spot.
off my lawn, you're trespassing.
9 times out of 10, you're going to sell the painting.
Sick the dog after you.
But then one time, I kid you not, I'm driving along. It's not far from here where I live. There was this just wonderfully bizarre oak tree that looked like God had taken it and twisted it.
Yeah.
In the fountains of time. It spiraled in its bark. And it would catch light perfectly. And I'd driven by it a few times. And I thought, I'll do my normal thing. I grab a business card. I go knock on the door. And I say, look, I just don't want you to freak out. I'm out here painting. This guy came out. And all I can say is meth is a hell of a drug. This guy came out. And he was all geeked up. What do you want? Why are you knocking on my door? Who the fuck are you? And I tried to answer his question. And he went, "Yee!" And he turned around and he ran. And he slammed the door. I'm like, alrighty then. There's something you don't see every day.
Wow. Yeah. Now I have a 2-part question about this one, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. So would you consider this art, and why?
I consider it art because it is executed with all the elements of art. There are areas of high interest and active and working color theory. There are areas at rest. There's semi-formal balance. It is built in layers, and it is appealing.
Now, if I did this, okay, here's my second part. If I did this very same scene that you call art for all those reasons, in untraditional colors. Why is that not art?
It would be. That would be Fauvism.
It would be. Okay.
You know Fauvism.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
I'll show some examples to the chat later on. Like if I painted this exact same scene.
And they were called the Beast. They were called the Beast.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, think of it this way, chat. If I took this, put it in Photoshop, and just adjusted the hue so everything turned fuchsia and purple and pink, that's what Fauvism was. They used color to express emotion. That's all it was.
Beast, because they were so savage.
Savage and untamed.
And I really don't like Matisse. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know,
this is another one.
I like his teacher, Gustave Moreau. He's more like Rembrandt with areas of texture.
Yep.
Layered texture. Have you ever seen Gustave's stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of like it. And he worked on a big scale sometimes. I mean, I saw, and I like his little watercolor. I think it was watercolor, little prep things, because they look very modern to me. You know, like modern abstractionism.
Yes. This one is
I think he was ahead of his time.
The Trenton Mersey Canal over in UK.
Ooh, like the sheen off that water. Yeah. And I get a feel of movement with the trees and stuff. The you know, I get a feel of dynamism or whatever, you know, movement.
Just movement.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things you try to shoot for in Impressionism. You know, you are capturing a moment in time, the atmosphere, the light, the movement, and you can only really do that if you paint fast and you just chop it in there.
And you know, they're also directional where you're laying the brush strokes.
Right.
Down.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I get like a haystack feel off this or something, and then also just which is accentuated from the highlight on the water, that it's so, the edge is so, it's not smooth, it's
choppy.
It's choppy, right? And so that kind of helps with the.
You're actually looking off the back of the guy's narrowboat, and the boat has just churned the water. So you're not only seeing the reflection, you're seeing the wake of the boat.
That sunlight effect is legit, Blade Runner says.
Thank you, Blade Runner. This was an interesting painting. It's a landmark here in this rural community nearby called Orchard Hill. Everybody knows just the silos. That's what they say. And everybody knows the silos, but nobody knows who owns them.
Or the granary. Yeah.
What they do, you know, but it's the only landmark out in that part of the county. And I thought, I'm going to go out there and paint that damn thing.
Yeah. Along with the power lines. Very, very, very daring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest. I hate this painting. I hate it.
Really?
I did not capture the moment the way I wanted to,
yeah.
But it sold before I could rework it, because where I'm standing as I paint this is a coffee shop, and that coffee shop owner bought it.
So why not try another one?
Eventually I will.
Okay.
I will. I'm all about, like Monet, I'll go do a series. I'll paint the same thing until I get it the way I really want it.
Yeah. So why is that a failure in your mind? It's just because simply you didn't capture what you wish to capture. Hey, Dillard.
Correct. Hey, Dillard.
Hello.
What's going on, tough guy?
Boy, I heard that somebody was comparing comic book artists to fine art painters.
That's right. That's right. I, as a comic book artist, am totally dogging out this fine artist. Yeah, they left these standing, Jack, and I actually think they're still in operation, but I don't know for what. And I mean, there's a fence there, and you'll see cars over there, so who knows? How you doing, Dillard?
I'm doing great. Being honest, I'm doing more than great. I'm inspired.
You're inspired?
Yeah.
You want to share
something? What inspired you? So share that with us so that we can be inspired, maybe, perhaps.
Right. Oh, it has nothing at all to do with art.
Oh, okay. What has inspired you, sir? Talk to us.
Uh, Later.
No answer.
It's something that would derail the conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, we'll get derailed in just a little bit, Dillard. So yeah, let's finish up EFAPing through this. Oh wait, I have to
Sorry,
add
I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening before I hopped on. I just noticed that you were live. So, what exactly are we doing?
Well, what I had done was I EFAPed my way through one of my own painting tutorials and talking about the difference between painting and comic book art. And someone in the chat asked, did I have other work? So this is just a video portfolio that's on my Fine Art channel. And we were just kind of going through here. This is a 30 by 40 gallery wrapped. That means it's 1 inch thick on each side, and you paint the sides. The picture continues around the sides.
Right.
And this is called Swimmers at Squirrel Bluff. And I don't know if this one sold or not. I can't remember.
Squirrel Bluff. Wow.
SP. But this is the funny thing. Squirrel Bluff is spelled Sprewell. So I always said Sprewell. The locals wanted to stone me to death because I wasn't saying it right. It's Squirrel Bluff. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Sprewell. I'm wrong. They're right. Never argue. Never argue with the locals.
No doubt they'll burn you in effigy or worse.
Yep. So, but everybody was commenting, I know that rock. I've been swimming there. That's the swimming hole at Sproul.
Yeah.
This one is, there was this kid waiting on the school bus, and he was like the last one on the playground. So I sketched him in my sketchbook, and then I took it home and turned it into a painting. And it's just called, it's a sad little painting. It's called Alone.
He looks like he's sitting in a swing.
Yes, that's what's happening.
Okay, but I don't.
There's an empty swing right here.
I kind of see that, but the chains and the.
I have since painted the swings the same cobalt blue as his shirt, and the chains are easier to see. I took a knife, did knife painting.
Interesting.
And just popped it in. But it's a small one. That's why you see that. So it's only like I think 8 by 14. Yeah. This is another one of the Stuart Davies challenges. Doing the big clouds and the big skies.
Oh, there's where I go spray, Doc. You would love because the vista of the clouds goes on for miles and miles.
Yeah. And this is a scene here locally. If you go out to the eastern part of this county, you have the rolling pasture land and all that stuff. So, but the big sky was the draw there, and it was fun. This is actually a work in progress. I don't know why it got put in. This is before I was editing my own videos because I didn't know how. So my son put in a work in progress. I don't know why. This one's finished now. There's a large tree right here with Spanish moss hanging down in the foreground. So I don't know why this one's here. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Well, Doc, I guess I'll bow out. I've got to run. I've got something to go mail and shower before my show and whatnot.
Roger that.
Be able to come on, and you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Rex, and helping me out.
Oh, no problem. I was glad to see that you were streaming.
Yeah, I'm hoping over the weekend, guys, that I'm going to actually go back to having 2 monitors so I can see what's going on while I'm screen sharing.
No, I'm not in my underwear. I have bedhead, but I can prove it by standing up. I'm not in my underwear, although I do have underwear on.
We always joke about Rex is putting his pants on.
Yeah.
So, Dillard, what's going on with you today, brother?
Oh, not much. What conclusion, what thesis are you trying to put forward?
None, really. Just pointing out the difference between the similarities and the differences. All art fundamentally does what art does and is constructed with similar things in mind. The way you execute those things is very different. For example, I'm using a large brush. I'm working out here at arm's length and I'm going fast and broad strokes versus what do we do when we're doing a comic book? Tiny little nitpicky work where you're choked up on the pencil, getting in as tight as you can get. you're relying on line weight versus the painted contrast to establish atmospheric perspective, those kind of things.
So, are you telling me the entire premise of the show is that painting and comic book art are different, but both art?
And the same. Yes, that's the whole premise, Dillard. The entire premise.
Sounds
Now,
great.
So, but you want to know what the reason is?
Yes.
I'm going to upload this later on my fine art channel because the people that are subscribed over there have blown up my email and said, "Where the fuck have you been? You haven't uploaded anything in 12 months." Because I've been over here in the comic book world. So now I have something I can upload over there, having comments from comic book artists like yourself going, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I didn't say anything like that.
You
I
did.
would never say anything like that.
You did. You called me all these horrible names. Come on, man. You know,
When was this?
help me out here, man. You're supposed to.
I would have remembered something like that.
But I thought I would cross the stream because the next thing I'm going to do after CromCon, I think next week, Dillard, I'm going to do a live paint instead of a live draw, like I used to do on Facebook. But I'm going to simulcast it to my comic book channel, Doc Blaylock, and to Christopher Blaylock Fine Art on YouTube, and cross the streams. And have some new content for that channel and show off some painting on this channel. What do you think?
That sounds fantastic. People seemed to like when I was doing I did some live paintings on my channel a while back. They liked it, but it was just unproductive for what I was doing, so I had to stop doing it.
Exactly. You just nailed it. That's what I told my guys. I cannot be productive doing comic book art if I'm painting. But since I'm painting, since I can knock out a good painting in like 30 minutes, why not? You know, just take 30 minutes out and knock out a quick painting.
See, that's my problem. I've never been formally trained or even been very intuitively skilled at painting. So
you do good. You do good. I've seen yours.
A painting takes me forever.
Yeah,
because I do it like a drawing.
Yeah, exactly. The hardest thing to learn, I think, for people who are artists but have never painted, is to loosen up. So I use a motto: it's just paint. Nobody's going to die. Just throw it up there. You know, nothing will happen. There's nothing you can do that you can't fix. And the other thing is that's hard about painting is knowing when to just put your brush down and walk away. I'm done. You know.
I'm never done. Never.
Carol says, "I'm driving home. My gas light just came on. I'm still 20 miles from a gas station. Wish me luck." I do wish you luck. If you're in a normal car, you can make 20 miles with your gas light on. You can make it.
Nope.
Yes, you can.
Carol drives a clunker. Carol drives a gas guzzling clunker.
Let me tell you a true story about that, Dillard.
He's going to run out of gas 12 miles from home.
Where I'm originally from, there's a bridge down there called the Broad River Bridge. I'm in my Volkswagen Bug, and my light is on. And you know, a Bug has a reserve tank. You can switch over, and you have another, I think, 2 gallons in there or something. And I thought, surely that's enough. Well, this bridge is long. That's why it's called the Broad River Bridge. It'd take you a minute to cross it.
Oh yeah, that's in Carolina, right?
Yep, exactly right. And I'm putzing down this bridge. And I'm going, please, Lord, please, Lord, please. It died, ran out of gas at the end of the bridge, and I managed to coast off the bridge and into this gas station. What followed was fairly normal. You know, I wanted a full tank of gas, but they didn't have ATMs back there and whatever, and the guy didn't know me. I couldn't write a check. So I'm like, well, dude, I'll go get you some cash. Let me get some gas, but here, you hold my Navy team ring. And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So gassed up, went on to where I was going. And Dillard, I forgot about it. I never went back for that ring.
Well, it's not very important, is it?
It was. It was very important.
To who?
To me. So I had to go buy a Navy team ring replica of my original a few years ago. So
Oh, that's too bad, Doc.
Yeah, whatever. All the way back in the day, I ran out of gas in a Volkswagen Bug running on the reserve
Doc
tank.
running around with his stolen valor. Get out of here.
Yeah. I don't have any valor to steal. I've seen those guys though, man. They look like a fucking Russian general with all the medals on and whatever. I kid my buddy. He went in the Navy after I got out, but he's about my age. And he went in, and that's when Desert Storm had kicked up, and he stayed in through the whatever when we after 9/11, right? And he is decked out like a
See,
Russian.
that's when I was going to join the military. I was all ready to go. I hadn't signed up, but I had that recruiter calling me every couple of days. You know how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9/11 hit. I'm like, I'm not going to war. Fuck this.
Well,
I don't. I'm trying to get like a a zero down house and a free education. I'm not trying to die for the white man.
So my buddy goes in there and he's decked like a Russian general with all these medals. His whole job though was sitting on a ship interpreting radar signals. My job in the military was to get shot at and to crawl through the mud.
Oh, so he was much more important than you.
He was far more important, obviously.
Well, that's why he has all those medals, Doc. Don't be hating. Don't hate the player.
We cut up about it because we would go early on when he first got out.
If you mess up, you die. If he messes up, many die.
No, if he messes up, the three guys sitting next to him catch it because they're all doing the same thing.
That's how important that job is. Checks and balances.
So we would check it out though. We would go on Memorial Day. You put on your uniform and you go pay tribute at the National Cemetery here.
Some people do, not me.
And we didn't. Neither he nor I like to be part of the official ceremonies. We would go at sunrise, pay our respects, and leave. And we stopped going in uniform after a few years. Anyway, we're out there the first time. We're the same rank. We wear the same uniform. I've got one little medal on my chest. And he's... And my one medal, by the way, is you just didn't go to jail on a felony for 5 years, or good conduct medal. Yeah. That's it. That's all I've got. And this kid comes up to us one time.
Doc's always showing up underdressed. I'm telling you.
Our rank is on our sleeves. Your hash marks for how long you served are down here. And this kid comes up and he's just chatting with us. He's like 10 years old, And he asked my buddy, he said, "So are you like a general?" And he pointed at we call it our salad bar. He pointed at his salad bar. "Are you like a general?" And I said, yes, he is. He's a general. Oh, me. Good times. Yeah, Jack says, and he's right, when my car says 0 miles left, it starts to sputter. My other car, when it says 0 miles, it means a gallon, which is at least 20 miles. American cars will give you a grace period. That is a true story. Like my F-150 pickup, when it's on E, I can go for a while. I'm good. That little car, I don't trust it. When it gets close to E, I go fill the tank up.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think about things in terms of like on a day-to-day basis in terms of miles. I just think like when my light goes on, I'm like, that can get me to work. Like in terms of like distance from where you're at to work or home.
Right, exactly. How many more times can I go to work and get home before I have to put gas in? Yes.
Like I can get to work, but I'm gonna need to get gas 3/4 of the way home.
Yes. That's that weird, Diller. That's that weird algebra men can do in their head to figure out how far they can go on a gallon of gas and how long it'll take them to. I can't do math for shit, but when I'm driving on the interstate,
oh, you bet your ass you can do math in your head when it comes to how much gas you got.
Exactly, and how long the trip's going to take you. If I move at this speed, it'll take me this long, and I'll use this much. You can calculate all that shit in your head. But if you ask me to add these numbers on a piece of paper, I'm like, I don't know. Get a calculator out for that.
I'm gonna pull up something real quick. This is a map of a place that I used to live.
Do that.
And I'm gonna do a little bit of an exercise and see if you kind of think the same way that I do.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So let me go ahead and pull this up here. Okay, I got it. I wonder how you can turn. And I guess that's even better that you can't turn this map. Okay. Share screen, and share everything.
Exactly. At 60 miles an hour, Everything is 30 miles away or 30 minutes away. Exactly. Exactly right, Jack. That's kind of math we do in our head. All right, Dillard, what are we looking at here?
All right, this is a map of my old housing. Can you see my cursor on the screen?
Move it a little bit.
Let me get a little closer then. Can you
yeah.
see that?
Yeah.
All right, so right here, in this little corner right here, where it says Beltran Moving and Delivery Service, that's just somebody's house. But right here is where I used to live.
Okay.
Now, there is this winding complex of streets, dead ends, and all this stuff, right? Now, my wife is coming here on 46th Street, and she wants to get here to our house.
Okay.
But she doesn't know which streets to turn on and all that, right? She just knows it's somewhere in here in this maze.
Okay.
Now, if you, being a guy,
right,
how would you navigate that? Because I'm gonna tell you what I do. Because this was a newer house when we got it, right? We had just moved there. It's understandable. She doesn't know how to get there.
Right.
So what I do is I know that once I get to right here, I know exactly where my house is at. It's just one street away, right?
Okay, but your cursor's not moving.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, kind of wiggle it around a little bit.
I'm doing that here.
Yeah, it's just sitting still. So, but I'm following you. I'm following your description.
Okay, give me 1 second here.
There we go. Oh, look at you. I know what you're doing. Grab that tool, baby.
All right. So.
Well, that's a good idea.
Okay, so. Yes, apply to transform, please, and thank you. This is the house here.
Right.
Trying to get there. She's coming up from this area here on 46th Street.
Right.
Okay, let me make it a little bit bigger. Here we go. She's coming this way.
So
in my brain, this is what I think, right? And also, before, none of this existed. These houses here. Okay,
all right, I got you.
So what I think in my head is, all I got to do is stay to the left. Just keep turning left. Right? I keep turning left. And then, eventually I don't have the option to turn left. I'll make a right, and I'll know where I'm at. So I do this number. I go here. I go here. I go here. And boom, I know where my house is.
Right. And see, the way I would approach that if I'm new to it, Dillard, is all right. I'm going to run parallel to the river and hang a left before I get to this Beltram or whatever, and then I'll be in the area and I'll recognize something.
Okay, because the thing is, this area here is kind of confusing. That's why I didn't do that. It's a tall field and there's not a lot of view. You know what I mean?
I got you. But check this out. You talk about your wife doing that, all right? My first wife called me one day when I was stationed on Parris Island. And she goes, honey, I've gotten lost. And I started laughing. She said, don't laugh, I'm lost. I said, honey, it's an island. It's not even a big island. You're either going to run into the main drag or the water. If you run into water, turn around. And you'll find the main drag. How do you get lost on a small island?
You don't.
You don't. You don't. It's only got one main drag, and there are shores, north, south, east, and west. You can't get lost.
So I tried to explain to her, but this is the problem, right? When I look at a map as a guy, and most guys do, when I think about the area I'm going, I actually look at it as if it were an overhead map in my head.
Exactly.
They don't do that.
Right.
So me telling her, if you just think about it, like if you're looking at it from an aerial view, she can't wrap her head around this.
Right.
Because they think in terms of like this. Oh, here's a street. There's a sign here. I should turn left on this street. You know what I mean? That's how they think. This is how guys think. They think in overhead map style.
We have what they say, but that's our secondary consideration. Mine is, and women don't get this one either. I'll drive south for a couple of hours and then look for a road to head east, and then drive for 30 minutes and I'll be in the area. Then I can start worrying about where to go. You know what I'm saying? Before GPS, you had a compass. Yeah. You knew which way to go. And the highways are numbered. Odd numbers run north and south. Even numbers
Because they'll
run
ask
east
you,
and
how do
west.
you think? How do you know we're going that way? I was like, well, because that way's north. Because
Exactly right. And
that's
there's
why
like,
I'm not. That's why I'm not taking this freeway that says east west. You know what I mean?
and I literally I've had a wife ask me, well, how do you know we're headed south? It's the afternoon, okay? The sun is on my right because it sets in the west. We're going south. What if it's cloudy? Oh, for fuck's sake.
I got a phone call once because she was went to go visit her friend in Santa Ana in some area she didn't know, and she's telling me she's lost. And I said, well, where are you right now? And the first thing she tells me is because her car has one of those little things on the rearview mirror that tells you which direction you're going. She says it says NW.
She's in the NW. Dillard, she's in NW.
Like, no, that's not where. She's like, no, that's not where I'm at. I'm not stupid, but that's where I'm headed. That's where my car is headed. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah.
That still doesn't help me get you out of there.
No, it doesn't. But she was so adamant that, like, no, I understand. That's not my location. I'm not giving you GPS coordinates, but that's where I am. I'm headed northwest.
All right, Carol, did you stop and get some gas? Carol said she made it.
Of course she did it. If she was going to stop and get some gas, she would have done it 20 miles ago.
I don't know, man. If I'm freaked out about getting home, I might go home first and get a gas can and then go get some gas. But that's because I live in town and it's not far to a gas station.
See, I always feel like if I need to get to the quickest route to a gas station, if I dilly-dally and go home and, my car might, if it's idling in the driveway, will turn off, or turning it back on will suck up more gas. In my head, I think when I turn on my car, that's eating a ton of gas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but my thinking is if the house is here and the gas station's here, I can do that. But again, that's only
like if you pass the gas station on the way to your house, you're crazy.
There we go. Yeah, she's at the gas station now. And of course, Amit says that's why you buy a hybrid. Yes,
if you had a hybrid, you'd be out of battery, like
out of battery and gas. You'd be out of battery and gas. When your gas runs out, use a battery. Or hear me out, get more gas. Amit, how are you?
Why is that so difficult? My wife refuses to get gas. That's my job, right? I have to take her car when she's and we don't use the same car, so I have to go physically grab her keys, go take it to the gas station, and gas her up, on the off chance that she might be low or something.
Right. Now, my wife used to ask me to do that. She has long since stopped. Remember, we're old. We've been together a long time, but we drive different vehicles. I've got the truck. She's got the little gas saver car, and she loves that little car. So now she does everything. She's gone out there today. She's already washed it. My truck looks like Mother Nature threw up on it, and I don't care. Can I see out of the windshield? That's all I care about. It's not a show truck. It's a truck. But she's going to go out there and wash it. She will take it to get oil changes. She will take it and gas it up. That's her baby.
Yeah, my wife, she likes that her car looks nice, but she couldn't care less about the car or its well-being.
Yeah, yes. I've known a lot of folks.
She gets mad when it's like, oh, there's like we recently a little bit of clear coat came off on the hood.
Oh,
and she was distraught. Right, she was beside herself. I can't be driving around. People are gonna think I drive around a junky car.
Yes, I can't drive this ghetto car. Now, there was this one thing. My truck is one of the extended bed F-150s. Mm-hmm. I think it's a 2003 model, I think. So if you can visualize that in your head, between the cab separation and the rear wheel on each side is a dent. And the wife did the first one. She's pulling into a gas station and she hits one of the pylons, Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, I'm a forgiving soul. I'm going to be magnanimous. The next fucking day, Dillard, I was backing out of my own driveway and I was looking at a hedgerow that's on my property, not paying attention, and I backed up and hit a telephone pole.
Oh my God.
There I was, Mr. Magnanimous, the day before. It's all right, honey. I understand these things happen. Bless your little heart.
No, if you do it, you're an idiot. You're an asshole. What the,
Yes,
what the hell was I thinking? What kind of a moron am I? Like if she actually knew what you thought about people that hit pylons,
Thank you. And it was there's no living it down. We go to the next family get together at her parents, and everybody sees the truck. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Well, Tasty hit it on one side, I hit it on the other one because we just felt like it would improve the looks or something. I don't know.
because we're both teenagers.
Oh my God. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. I've got to go on stream with
Well,
Rex.
you never
here
gave
in
me a
just little
chance to tell you what I was so excited
bit. I
about.
thought you wanted to do that off screen.
No.
Oh, well,
That's all right. I don't need to. That's all right.
No, we are dying to know. Please tell me.
Okay, so I went pier fishing the other day.
Yeah.
And we caught a bunch of these. They're called thornback rays.
Yeah.
And I've always caught these at the piers here in Southern California. And we always figured they were garbage. We heard from somebody somewhere in passing that they were garbage fish. Don't eat them. And they're also ugly to look at.
They are.
So we were like, okay, so I never gave it a second thought in all my years, right? Then, as I'm taking my brother-in-law and his son fishing at the pier, we start catching a bunch of these because the night, they start really biting at night, and we got there at sundown. And so we get, we spend about 2.5 hours and we catch about 10.
Right.
And they're really excited. It's their first time ever catching a fish, right? Like, oh, my goodness. He's running around with the thing on the pier, the little kid, trying to trade it for other stuff that people have. And then my brother-in-law starts asking me, well, can we eat this? Right? That's what first thing you think, right? When you catch a fish. Can we eat this? And I'm like, you know what? I heard no. I don't really know, though, for sure.
For this is what he's talking about, guys. And yeah, you can eat those.
Yeah, so apparently I start to look it up, like on my, as an adult now. I'm not going to take anybody else's advice. I have the internet on my phone. I start to look it up as I'm fishing, and I find out that people do eat these things.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, damn it. I'm kind of like a dick, right? Like, I'm out there fishing for halibut.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you fish for halibut the exact same way that you fish for thornback rays. So you're always catching these quantities of rays, and you're getting upset. You unhook them and you throw them back at the water at great speed and let them.
Get out of here, fucker!
And then I'm looking at this fish, and I was so angry, right? Because I had just bought this set of blood hooks, right? The hooks that are like anodized steel, they're stained red.
Yeah.
It's supposed to attract more fish because it looks like blood, right?
Uh-huh.
This fucking ray comes up, and he already has one of my hooks in his mouth. It's the same fucking ray.
You done caught him twice.
So I stabbed the fucker, right? I'm like, all right, now get back in there.
Chum the water with you.
Chum the water with this ray. Instead of chopping them up for bait and throwing them in, I just stab them a couple of times, let them bleed, and throw them back in.
Are halibut, are they bottom dwellers?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never fished for halibut. I wouldn't know.
Halibut is flounders. They have both eyes on one side of their head.
Oh, that's right.
They cruise on the bottom.
Yeah. Those things will freak you out. How big are halibut down there?
No, well, they grow all sizes. It's just you can't keep them unless they're at least 21 inches.
Okay, all right.
Which is why people like over here in Southern California, they're very prized because people fish them out so often they rarely get a chance to grow that big. So if you catch a keeper of a halibut, like somebody will buy it off you before you even walk off the pier.
Oh, nice. But it's not like tuna where it's the size of a car.
No. Well, some halibut like up in Alaska, they grow. I've seen them pull up halibut that are, 7-8 feet long.
Yeah.
Massive beast, But over here, I caught one once.
Those eyes over here.
Yeah. I caught one once that was legal size, and it was only like 26 inches.
Okay, all right. But that was a big deal.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. And I should have kept it because I wanted to eat it because halibut, it's very non-fishy, right? Super white meat.
Yes. Flounder and halibut, very good.
Yeah, so it's like, I should have kept it, but I sold it. Some guy bought it off of me for $120.
Oh, yeah, I'd have sold it too. I can't fight you on that. I'd have done the same thing.
I could have got more probably.
So what got you hyped up?
So what got me hyped up is I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, wow, I can actually catch these rays, right, and eat them.
Uh-huh.
And remember, these are not an issue to catch.
Right.
They're easy.
Yes.
And you always want to find something that you can catch in great quantity so you can have a big fish fry, barbecue, even if you put it in the oven,
Absolutely.
If you can get a good poundage of meat home, you can have a good day with a lot of friends.
Right.
So I started thinking to myself, how can I get more than one? And then I came up with this brilliant idea. You've heard of a sabiki rig, right?
I can't say I have.
It's you see what those Chinese people used to catch mackerel on the pier.
Oh, the multi-hook?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I came home and I said, let me see if I can make myself a sabiki rig, but for halibut / ray. Because if I end up accidentally catching a halibut, you ain't going to see me crying.
Right.
So I do it, and I found out.
Wait. This is a best case, worst case thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set out to catch these easy things, but I have a chance of catching a halibut, so it's win-win.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead.
So then I'm like, let me try this. So what I do is I go here, I come back to my house, and I this is earlier today, and I'm thinking, okay, how can I set up a sabiki rig for these halibut? And the normal way that you yourself, if you were not to buy one, if you were just to set up one, you put a weight at the bottom on a snap swivel, about 6 inches up, you tie your first hook on about a 6-inch to 12-inch leader. So I do that multiple times, and then I come to an epiphany. I'm at the pier. I'm not limited by how, the distance between my pole and the ground.
Right.
So I made a couple of different prototypes. So that what I can do is when I'm at the pier's about a good 20 feet above the water, I can let it down, and as soon as it gets to the end, I can hook up another one.
Right.
And when at the pier, you have to swing your bait out. They don't allow overhead casting.
Right.
People walking on the pier might get a hook in their lip.
Yeah.
So I could, in theory, get 3. Now, I'm going to stay with 2 because if I get 3, I'm going to need somebody else to actually help me pull this thing up.
Right.
But if I stick with 2, I can get, because my pole, remember my pole is about a 10-foot pole. I'm a 6-foot person. If I got a nice strong forearm, I could get, realistically, about a good 13 feet over the pier of line that hangs up and over. I can land the fish, right?
Right.
So I can have 13 feet of hooks just waiting at the bottom, like a trot line. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But because they're bottoms, you put a weight at the end, and you also, after you finish putting on your last hook, put a weight at the beginning. So you lob it out there, and it will lay flat on both sides. Dude, I can't wait to try this.
I gotta know the results, man. When you get that in, Are you? The only thing I think I'd be afraid of is if you don't get a straight enough cast, it might double up on itself.
Right. So I have a piece of plywood, and I'm gonna actually put I'm gonna take it with me. I'm gonna put my rigs hooked up to this plywood to keep them all straight, and have multiples that way in case I get snagged up or a fish. I do catch a fish and he tangles up the line. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I can just replace it real fast. And also I want to take multiples because it's against the law to have a sabiki rig with more than 6 hooks. So I could just chop my line and be like, huh, what?
Well, look, man, I want to see photos. I want to see video. You got to show this and bring it back with you and share it with us.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, but you got to do that. Yeah, footage or it didn't happen.
I brought footage last time and they were like, oh, you photoshopped that.
All right, I'm going to shut this one down. I've only got about 10 minutes. I got to get something to eat before I jump on with Rex. Are you coming over to Rex's?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
I do want something to eat too. Maybe I should go get something to eat.
I'm starving. Rex, tune into Rex Christian, Momentum Comics, Devil Flyer. What's the name of the channel, Dillard?
It's Devil Flyer.
Devil Flyer Momentum. There it is. It's in the chat. Pop in over there. There's my buddy Charles as I'm signing off. Charles, hey, bud.
Hello, everything. We're going.
Doing good. I was about to sign off.
Oh, okay. Well, goodbye.
Charles, what do you think of my fishing rig idea?
What's that?
Were you listening? What do you think of my fishing rig idea?
Actually, I just logged in, so I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, Charles, we're about to go live with Rex over on his channel, Devil Flyer Momentum, in about 10 minutes. But all of us need to grab something to eat, so I'm going to do that. I'll give you a ring. We'll talk for a minute, and then I got to jump on there.
Copy that.
Roger that, sir. Chat, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Oh, no. Carol says, and I'm broken down. No. God dang it, Carol.
This is what you do, Carol. Because if you got gas and you can't get out of the gas station because your car won't start, turn your ignition. She says she has a Land Rover, so it's probably a newer car. Turn your ignition on, let it sit for a while so that your fuel pump can actually get the stuff back in there. Then it's going to take a while, about 20, 30 minutes. Then try it again.
Carol, I certainly hope that you get some help. I'm so very sorry. Oh, it's a tire. Something blew a tire. All right, well, that's not a big deal. Tires are fixable. You got a spare? She says, I think. Oh, my God. I'm not there. I'm not there. I wish I could help. But anyway, I got to.
If I was there, Carol, I would help you for a very small fee.
Oh my God! She says no. Something broke off. Oh my God! See, Dillard would charge you for the help. Of course, I'm going to help for free, but then you would have to pay my hospital bills because I'll probably have a heart attack from trying at my age. All right, guys, I got to sign this thing off. I'm so very sorry, Carol. Chat,
you can't help out random women for free. I'm married.
Yeah, I know. We know how that worked out, right? with was it Tiffany? We know how that worked out. All right, I'll see you in a little bit, Dillard.
Later.
Stop sharing in